All right, YouTube. Am I excited to show you what I've got here? Picked this up about 2 days ago. This is the CRKT, or I've always called them Cricut knives. I know that's not how, they want you to say the letters every time, but it's such a pain in the butt. I just call them Cricut knives. So, my new Cricut Clever Girl Kukri. The first thing I'm going to show you is what I've changed. It comes with the beautiful sheath. It's a hard sheath. It's not Kydex. It's that glass-filled nylon GFN. Sheath is absolutely fantastic. The attachment to mount the sheath to your belt is absolutely atrocious. This is the most god-awful thing. So I've already switched it over to a tech lock, and I'm going to explain just very quickly why this rigid belt attachment is just horrendous. Now, when it comes, these two screws are bolted into here and here. So I'm going to see if I can kind of line it up roughly with how the knife comes with the sheath. So it's basically like that, and then it has the retention strap that goes around the handle, and my tech lock is in the way, so it's much closer. Problem with this is that with your belt coming through up there, it's a drop leg attachment, and because it's rigid, if you have it on your belt and you go to hop in your car or truck, any kind of vehicle, it gets binded up. I'm sitting in my truck right now, and I've got a leather sheath on. I've got my Undertaker Bowie, and it's a huge knife, but I can comfortably sit in my truck and even buckle my seatbelt because it has some freedom of movement. You know what I mean? If you can swing it kind of up here, pull your seatbelt across, buckle in. The problem with this being a rigid drop leg thing is that in order for you to, sit in your truck and have to push the knife up, it binds your belt. It's horrible. I mean, I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but this is obviously somebody that, puts a knife on their belt, walks directly outside into the woods, plays with their knife, chop, chop, choppity chop, walks back in their house and takes it off, because no one would want to strap this on your belt, leave your house, and hop in your truck or your car and drive around. It was awful. This instantaneously fixed it, because now it rides higher on my belt, so that with it on my waistband, I can sit in my truck or car, and it's not getting, crammed into the seat, or have to push it up and wedge it so I can put my seatbelt on. So that fixed it. That's the only thing wrong with this knife. Now let me show you this puppy. It's got this super cool sheath where it locks in, good retention. You can make it rattle, but you really don't hear that when you're just walking. And then the sheath has this split in the top, and out she comes. Dudes, let me tell you, ladies and dudes, this thing is phenomenal. Slender handle, which I like, and I have very large hands, but I can index around it real comfortably. And even with the handle being quite slender, because it's got these grooves cut into it, it's very, very grippy. Nice aggressive kukri shape. You get that scissor action back here when you're chopping. You've got a goodly amount of belly for cutting if you wanted to, if you needed to cut food and whatnot. Nice thick SK5 steel, which is probably my favorite steel. I know that on TV and stuff, and on the internet, on YouTube, everybody loves 1095. 1095, 1095, 1095, 1095, 1095. If it's not 1095, it's no good. 1095, 1095, 1095. And I think this SK5 is even better. But I'm not a metallurgist So, you know, maybe that's my ignorance. However, I love the edge on this thing. It is sharp, flat grind all the way down. Nice sharp edge. It came sharp, like sharp enough that with a little bit of saw action you could cut paper. So I just took it across a diamond rod. See if I can dig it out here. Just my fine grain diamond rod, a couple of swipes each side, and it is like hair shaven sharp now. It's an 8-inch blade. 7 3/4 inches is the dimension, manufacturer's dimension. So not only is it a Kukri, but it's also convenient to carry, because a lot of Kukris have 10, 11, 12, 16-inch blades, and they're amazing, and you could chop through anything, which is what they're meant for, but they can be a little bit cumbersome to carry, you know, i.e. getting in and out of your car, things like that. You've got a sword on your hip. So this knife is a tactical, compact, full-blown Kukri, and it's just phenomenal. I really like this knife. I like the steel. I like the handle. I like that you can put a lanyard if you like lanyards. I really don't use them because, you know, I honestly, I don't do a lot of like in the rain, you know, camping, surviving, you know, wet hands. So I don't really ever put lanyards on my knives, and I'm not going to be doing anything crazy enough with this to really worry about like, whoop, throw it across the woods. But super cool knife. I mean, it is absolute perfection. I love this knife. I love the steel. I love the size. Very convenient to carry, but you've got one wicked blade on your hip. And try to kind of one-handed show you how it goes in the sheath. Kind of stick it down in the taco, and it's a lot easier on your hip, believe me. Chabow. The sheath does have this nice thumb ramp for, you know, getting that initial lock unpopped. Snaps in, pop, snap. And then, you know, drawing it from the sheath, it's kind of the same thing. And again, a lot easier on your belt. Freaking amazing knife. This might be my favorite fixed blade. And you can see by the edge and the coating that I honestly have not used it a whole lot. My sons and I chopped a bunch of 2x4, just raw pine 2x4 material, you know, which is like soft pine, white pine or yellow pine. And you know, it did not even, chopping through a 2x4 2 or 3 times, I mean, I don't think it even scratched the coating. And I've had a lot of knives with this black traction coating, and that's always been my one complaint with the cold steel knives and the Ontario knives with the black powder coat, is as soon as you take it across any kind of wood, it just rubs off. It scratches off, it just rubs off immediately. And this, you know, I have not used it thoroughly, so I can't really say too much more about it, but the chopping of some 2x4 material wood did not remove any of the coating that I can tell. Freaking awesome knife. You can get these for like $96 on Amazon, so it's just an absolutely gorgeous knife. If you order it off of Amazon, order a tech lock, because you're not going to like this rigid, and I'm so sad for that. Like, they were so close to getting this knife just perfect. If this had been one of those like nylon attachments, you know, basically like a Crkt sheath, I think I mean, I wouldn't have had to change the sheath. I'd have been able to just wear it as is with some kind of, you know, movability here. But this, I hate it because it's an integral part of the sheath, but if you're just putting it on your belt, you're going to walk around, it's fine. It's great, actually, because it does give you some resistance when drawing the knife out of the sheath, you know, because this is on your belt and you go to pull it out, and that stiffness is actually nice for that, for just, if, as long as you're never going to sit down, you can just have it on your belt, yank it out, and you're good to go. But as soon as you go to sit down, your belt being through this loop, as soon as you try to sit down and the knife hangs so low that when this tries to turn, it binds the belt, and it's just a very poor design. Very just, so go ahead and order you up a Tech Lock. But this would be definitely a serious consideration for like a one tool option, survival, raw kind of knife. I mean, it's freaking perfect. So hope you guys like the new blade, and thank you and enjoy.